And we're back with Biz Talk, and my guest joining me now is in studio, and it's Ryan Holtz. Ryan is a marketing consultant, trainer, and writes for Canadian Jeweler magazine. Hey, Ryan, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, it's good to have you here. The first time I actually saw you was an article I was reading in Canadian Jeweler magazine. Mm-hmm. How did you get hooked up with these guys, and what do you do for them?
Good question. I mean, Canadian Jewelry Magazine is kind of something that just kind of came on the other back. I mean, I'm regularly on TV, and I go around the United States and Canada and public speak on the topic of digital marketing, and then also obviously have my clients. But I push out a lot of content. I blog, I vlog, I take selfies, I write articles, and I write for about 19 other magazines. So okay. You betcha.
So you're sort of the voice behind the company.
I am the voice behind the company. I mean, my company name is Ryan Holtz Marketing, and why I chose that name was, I think in 2015 with technology, it's never been more important to be transparent. And I think that the fancy names and all that, it really kind of just equates to people, and I wanted people to feel like they had first-hand access to me. Okay.
So what is it exactly that you offer to clients?
I do everything from mobile app development to marketing execution, to social media management, to website development. But I mean, the one thing that in any industry is amazing, and I mean, I'd have to say 70% of my clientele is actually in automotive, is they're having a hard time with the shift. Okay. So a lot of clients will say, you know what, Ryan, what can you do for us? Can you do all our marketing? Can you do this? And the first thing I actually tell my clients is, before you spend the big money, can I educate you first? Because I'd like you to be able to make a more sound and informal decision, whether you choose to go with my company or any other company for that matter. Because now more than ever, regardless if you're a doctor, lawyer, jeweler, you have to understand how to market. And I said, and we're all marketing. Nobody wants to talk on the phone anymore, right? Text me, Snapchat me, message me, but nobody ever wants to talk on the phone. So we're going through a cultural communication shift.
We sure are. Now tell me, how did you find your niche?
You know what? Funny story. If you ever asked if I would be in the automotive sector, I would have said no. And I make this very public in my speeches. I really thought the automotive sector and car dealerships, I thought very poorly of them, just from the consumer aspect, because every time I'd go to purchase a car, I'd ask just one simple question, how much? And it was always the runaround. But I owned one company before this, and was bought out, and I actually took a job with a car dealer and became the marketing and internet director. And in my first year, we became the first dealership in the world to be featured alongside Barack Obama by Twitter, which is absolutely amazing.
Wow!
And Twitter invited us out. I've been to Facebook and Google, and I hit my head on the ceiling, and being an entrepreneur that I am, I formed my own company. So I've only been in the automotive sector for 26 months, but I'm an internationally recognized automotive marketer, and I write. I've been in over 60 publications. I go on television, and I've wrote my own course material and module training for people inside the industry. So bottom line, if you want to do something, you can do it. But you got to work.
You got to work.
Got to work.
Okay, so you went from not enjoying the automotive industry to now being one of their talking heads.
Yeah, and it is funny because I think that once you're inside an industry and you realize how much room for opportunity there is, and I always say this, and people always laugh, money does not drive me. It just doesn't. Yes, if you do what you love and you're really good at it, it'll probably follow you, but it does not drive me. And this is an industry that I absolutely want to innovate. And what really actually got me over to the jewelry sector is they're more archaic than the automotive industry. So when you see those little biweekly payments in the newspaper, and it's just such archaic advertising. And what I'm really, really thrilled about is car buyers have never been more educated. And here's a fact. The truth is that if you go into a dealership and ask about a specific model of a vehicle, chances are you know more about that model than the actual dealer does. And the dealer will admit that, because we know that customers are researching 60, 90 days out.
Yeah.
By the time they get into that dealership, they know exactly what they want.
Well, that's a huge purchase. It's not even really an investment either. So it's a big purchase.
It's a money dump.
Yes.
No investment.
Yes. Okay. So let's get back to social media.
Sure.
And how marketing and marketing products has changed.
Sure. Yeah. So social media, I hate the term, because I think, everybody's taken it and just killed it and made it something that it's not. But every like, retweet, gram, follow, favorite, impression, unique visitor, click-through rate all equates to one word, and that one word is people. So if we use social media, I don't care where we're talking or what we're using, we always have to keep in mind that we're talking to people. And in today's age, it's never been more important to talk within somebody's context, preferred context. We have a saying, if content is king, then context is God, or whatever God you believe in. Because if I have really good content and I talk to you, Corrine, in a language that you're not familiar with, maybe I talk Chinese to you, and you don't understand it, doesn't matter about my content. That conversation's not going to vibe.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you need to find the different resources and sources that people are using.
Absolutely. Angela Ahrendts, which is the former CEO of Burberry, one of my favorite marketing people in the world. She's a brilliant woman who is now at Apple as Senior Vice President of Online Retail Sales. One of the things she said was, if technology is the conduit, then humans are the content. And what she did with Burberry was amazing, where she took over a company that was enriched with a great story, but super, super traditional. And she said, I need to make Burberry sexy online. And what she did is super amazing. She created an app that if I wanted to send my wife a gift card, I could kiss my phone. It would take the lip imprint from my kiss to the phone, wrap it into a digital gift card, and I could text it to her. So she said, I needed to figure out how I could tell Burberry's story in our now 2015 customer, 2012 at the time, customers' context, which was digital.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about why things are moving so fast.
Things are moving so fast because technology has changed everything. In one of my presentations, I have a slide at a synagogue in 2005, and it shows somebody taking a picture with a little Nokia flip phone. And then I have the same synagogue, 2013, people got like their big iPads out. And back in the day when everybody had like their Nokia phones, and you had the car phone, you thought you were cool. And you're like, man, you got a big phone. He's like, wow, you got a cell phone. That's great. Then we went to the really small phones, right? Mm-hmm. And went to the Blackberries, and, then the Blackberry, the screen resolution. And everybody knows when you had that little toggle wheel, sometimes you had to lick it, put Vaseline on it. It gets stuck all the time, right? And we know that your phone is one of the most disgusting things that you carry on you, If you ask a doctor, one of the most disgusting orifices of your body, it's your mouth. Now try that with the phone.
Right.
And I do got to say one thing in here, because I want to spice this conversation up, is in one of my slides I always ask, I have a picture of somebody on the toilet using an iPad looking at watches. So I always ask, do you use social media for your business on the toilet? And that's how I gauge if I have a lot of liars in my audience. Because if people say they've never done that, I'm calling BS. That's
great. Now I'm going to spice things up a minute. Yep. Let's talk about being sexy in business.
Being sexy in business is so important, and the idea of personal branding has never been more important. And when I talk about, when I hear entrepreneurs or even people who are like, oh, I have a job, you rent that job. Okay. Now, when the owner of that company looks at you, you're either a debit or you're a credit. You're an asset or you're a debt. So it's never been more important that even if you aren't an entrepreneur, but working inside of another person's company, to really demonstrate that value proposition. And a lot of my clients now, what they do is, even when they're hiring somebody, the number one question they're asking is, what's your social media presence like? Because people want you to be active. A lot of companies have social media policies. But being sexy is figuring out who you are, how you can be self-aware. I'm obsessed with men's socks. So my business card literally is a men's sock. And I don't even believe in giving out business cards anymore, because I think that if somebody really wants to reach out to me, they'll Google me. We can text. We can, create that dialogue. And on my LinkedIn profile, it's my title is not CEO. It's Chief Relationship Builder, because that's all I do, and that's all to me. That's all I think any good CEO does, is build relationships. So you got to be sexy and have fun, and it's just have fun. It's a fun time right now.
Yeah, I actually couldn't agree with you more. Be sexy, be yourself, find yourself.
Yep.
And tools like LinkedIn,
yep,
they're great.
Absolutely.
It does really replace the business card.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's that immediate introduction.
Well, it's self-awareness, and I like dating analogies, because I say, back in the single days, I think we're a society that was based on one-night stands. And when marketers like myself would go and market to you, it was always based on the quick fix. I wanted to sell you. I wanted to close you. And I'm very provocative in my speeches and my presentations because, to be honest, most marketers suck. Straight up. And I know this because I've had huge clients come up and say, you know what, I personally think digital marketers suck. And they're using all these buzzwords to charge their clients an arm and a leg. And I think it's so unethical because the first thing you should be doing to your client is educating them, and do that for free.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Build
Couldn't agree more.
Build that value. So yeah.
Okay. So what does it take then to be a good entrepreneur?
In today's world, once again, another word that I think is so overused. You know, most entrepreneurs are wantrepreneurs. You know, they're not an entrepreneur; they're a wantrepreneur. They want it, and then they get slammed with the work. And the truth is that it's not sexy. It's hard work. It's disgusting. And I look at every time I get to wear a suit and I go and speak in front of, a couple hundred or a couple thousand people, whatever it is. Before I do that, I'm like, I'm growing a beard at home with like a hat on, like reading, doing research. Yeah. And, when I come out, sure, then I get to get dressed up. But the behind the scenes stuff, it's not pretty and it's not sexy. But I love what I do. And I think that it really takes effort. And I think, and I don't know who said this quote, it wasn't me, but I always live by this. Do not let perfection hinder you, but intent is king. Meaning, don't have to have a perfect business plan. The book that was never written. You got an idea. Well, should I go left? Should I go right? And I always tell people, if you're taking 3 steps to the left, 3 steps to the right, you're guaranteed not to take 1 step forward.
Isn't that interesting?
Boom.
Yep.
Hashtag just saying.
Now,
right?
Just saying.
Let's get Instagram involved with this now.
Okay, let's get Instagram involved with this.
Instagram is sexy.
You think so?
Absolutely. And I love Instagram. And I know your previous guest on, they have a philanthropic venture, which I think is totally cool. But I bring up Toms. I love case studies of people and companies that have legitimately did really cool things. And secretly, and I'm very honest about this, if I wasn't doing what I was doing now, I'd be a woman's shoe designer.
I can see that.
I have a thing with...
You're very stylish. I can see this.
I have a thing with women's feet. And it's nothing weird. And even my sock for the business card, when I came out with this, a lot of people said, Ryan, you're really pushing this foot thing huge. But what I love about what Toms did is Toms did this. They said, okay, we're going to create a hashtag on Instagram called Without Shoes.
Okay.
And anybody who would take a picture without their shoes, tag Toms in it with the hashtag, Toms would automatically send 1 pair of Toms to Africa to a child who doesn't have shoes. That was my heaven. So I'm just going through Instagram, looking at all these women's feet without shoes.
Gave you the excuse.
And you had feet with up on the table, on the beach, with drinks. And what I thought was so amazing about this, and I always have conversations, is women and a lot of people say feet, that they're disgusting. This is retarded. But I'm like, how come there's $1 billion industry for shoes? How come women are getting tattoos on their feet? How come some women wear anklets? How come some women wear toe rings? I mean, I'm coming from a jewelry expo right now. There's a company, all they do is foot jewelry.
Oh,
and they do very well at it.
Yes, they do.
So if any woman says to me, Ryan, it's not important, I totally disagree because I actually used to manage a shoe store. So, I'm a black dude. I used to call myself the black version of Al Bundy, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And, I used to have my regular customers come in and they would buy these beautiful shoes. And then they would take their feet out and they're not nice. So I'd say, how can you take like a nice pair of Louis Vuittons or Jimmy Choos and you got these weird feet going into them?
You need a pedicure first.
Absolutely. So the analogy going into business is don't just look good on the outside. Have that come right from the foot, right from the inside out. So if I'm an entrepreneur, focus on the inside first. Be self-aware.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Now I want to ask you, how do we communicate in 2015? Does it impact every business owner?
Absolutely it does. Only the best of the best get to communicate and have people want to communicate with them. We are in a society where we multitask like no other. Why would I want to talk on the phone with you for 20 minutes when I could be texting 25 other people in 2.5 minutes? So everything is about efficiency. But the people who are really transparent and really focused on building the relationships, those are the people that still get to talk voice to voice with people. And I think the biggest thing is that you really have to be sincere with people nowadays and watch what you tell them.
Yes.
There's something called Google. We can fact check. Okay, transparency is a must. So don't say anything or don't lay any claim to anything unless you can back that up. But I think now more than ever, it's the best time. And here's what's funny, to pick up the phone and just try to talk to somebody.
Agree.
You know?
I agree.
Because even you, I text you all the time and everything, but I'm like, I don't really have a relationship with Corrine because it's just through text message. But if I get a phone call and we talk verbally, then I know that my stock has gone up with you and now we have some sort of relationship there.
So just, even if you add a smiley face to a text, doesn't mean you're friends.
Absolutely not. And text messages and emails sometimes can come across very cold. And it's hard to make, to be honest, it's hard to make a text message sexy.
Yeah.
But if I talk to you on the phone, I can really start evoking emotion.
Right.
And if I'm in marketing, I mean, the root word is, it's to be remarkable. And the root word of remarkable is remark. So if I leave an impression on you, good or bad, it's worthy of making a remark. I think in 2015, if you make no impression, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think you've definitely left your mark here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. Is there anything you want to leave the listeners today? Remember, these are entrepreneurs out there and small business people.
Absolutely. I'm a big social person, so I like to invite everybody to talk to me. My Instagram and Twitter is at Ryan Holtz1. You can hit me up on LinkedIn, hit me up on Facebook. And all my numbers there. You can even send me a text message. I'm literally hands-on with my company, and I love chatting to people, and I get hate messages sometimes. Most of it's love, but either way, I love convo. So thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in, and thank you for tuning into Biz Talk today. Remember, this show is for you. So if you have show ideas or you'd like to be a guest on Biz Talk, please email me at info@401radio.com. Thank you again for joining us today, and keep talking about your biz.